This is the Cutting Edge on RFM on next Wednesday. Today is actually the 12th of May. This month I go for us. This month I go for us. So so this is Child's Month. Them just gone through Mother's Day. Bob Marley death happened, I think, on the 11th. There's so much things. May, Child's Month. We all go through the places. We all go through. So much things happen in Jamaica, but we have to take across the ocean little, and cross which part them call Israel, Palestinians and Israeli is at heads again, and so much things are happening. But the most devastating one to me is the one in Afghanistan. I don't hear nobody really mention that in Jamaica, but it's a terrible thing. Because in Afghanistan, when the Taliban them around the place, women are not allowed education. I don't know what kind of principle that our culture. But women are not allowed education. Just like how in Saudi Arabia, them not allow women to drive. I think them they take up that now though. But can you imagine a culture where women is not allowed to have education? To the point where because the Americans them is coming out of the army is leaving Afghanistan, and I can't right here. All of them supposed to come out by the 11th of September this year. Well, because of the breaking down of the American army, they might come out little by little. A whole heap of school did open with young girls going to school. Well, guess what the Taliban them do? Them blow up one of the school them with the picture them in there. With all of the female little girl them inside. They blow up the school. I think it's about 40 of them dead. I don't know what kind of thing that, what is it that is saying women must not get educated even to the point where you're going to bomb them up in our school. Young girls going to get bombed up in our school. Can somebody please explain to me what is a religion that do that? Well, obviously it's a culture, but it's not lovely. It's not lovely. It's not lovely at all. It's not lovely. This is the Cutting Edge, brand new tune by Etana and Vibes Cartel. The bombing in Afghanistan with the girl students, them about 40 of them get blown up. Whole heap of them injured because them don't want women to be educated. That is a travesty. So now, the Israel thing is really a bigger problem. Well, not a bigger problem, but a big problem. Israel, remember last week we tell you, say, is the people them who in charge of these human rights issues is now declaring that Israel is dealing with apartheid. Them finally come to round three to say Israel is functioning as an apartheid system against the Palestinians. Well, we see big demonstration are going all over the world, including America, where the Palestinians and people who is in sympathy with the Palestinians are demonstrate against Israel because some serious killing and bombing are going over there. Serious thing. We say in a one car, 4 people get blown up, and it's women and children in the car. Well, we have this clip of a player. We want the people to listen to this clip here because it is not only the Palestinians that feel it, but years ago, me and Tony Rebel didn't have we got invited by the Hebrew Israelites who came from America, go through Liberia and settle in a place named Dimona in Israel. Well, they have been there for years, till even the leader of them, Benjamin, passed away. We had one of the most, a kind of exclusive interview with him at the time. But the other, well, not have, them still have the commune there where it's really big. Like, they make them own food, they make them own clothes, all of these things. I think that is one of the things them 12 tribe, well, Brother Gad didn't have in mind, because Brother Gad did talk about not Ethiopia, but to settle in Israel, because them call themselves the 12 tribes of Israel. Well, these brethren and sisters out of America go there and set up what I would say, because when I go there, I say, at this 12 tribe, what I did want to do, see, set up a whole thing there. Well, a whole heap of the youth, them all they just go there, grow big now, just like in Ethiopia, a whole heap of youth too. Them parents all have them in Ethiopia, well, them parents have them in Israel, them grow big. Well, we had the opportunity to go down there and rebel and we see the works. Because them didn't really want to see how them function and all them something there. As part of them propaganda machinery too. Them are using and turn rebel for tell the people them what them doing down there, and really and truly them was doing good. Them kind of seep into the Israeli society, even though they was separate and apart from the society. But some of them children, they now grow big and all in the Israeli army and all them something. Really, that is such a big contradiction. Anyway, the Israeli government is now saying that we'll expel them. That is the big news. The Israeli government is now saying they're going to expel the Hebrew Israelites back to America. That is really something else. So we want to play this clip.
Now, have you ever heard of the African Hebrew Israelites? Well, they are a sect of black Americans who began moving to Israel in the late 1960s, claiming to be descendants of the ancient Israelites. They're known for religious practices that include veganism and polygamy, and number about 3,000 people here in Israel, most of whom live in the southern desert town of Dimona. Now, most have received permanent residency under arrangements with the Israeli government, but now at least 46 families have just received deportation orders from the Interior Ministry saying that they have to leave the country within just 60 days. Well, we have Prince Emmanuel Ben Yehuda joining us from Dimona itself. He's the national spokesman for the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem. So first of all, tell us more about your community and when this movement to Israel began.
Well, thank you very much, Natasha, for having us on this evening. Well, there's a very rich history of tribes across Africa tracing their descendants to the land of Israel. And it also extends into the Americas, where many of the tribes were taken during the slave trade. In fact, there's a book by Professor James Landing out of the University of Chicago called Black Judaism, the History of an American Movement, which traces the presence of African Americans who trace their descendants to Israel back to the 1500s. So it's quite a very rich history that then in 1966, at a Beta Hebrew Cultural Center in Chicago, which was home of one of the many Israelite communities in the Americas, Ben-Ami, the spiritual leader of our community, the founder of our community, had a vision that it was time for descendants of the Israelites among African Americans to return to the Holy Land. And a year later, in 1967, he led 350 members of the community back into Liberia for 2.5 years. And then in 1969, the first members of the community began to come back into Israel.
Right.
And that was our beginning back home.
So this is a community that now plays a significant role in Israel. Can you tell us about what kind of role the African Hebrew Israelites play here in Israeli society? Do members of your community go to the army? Do they feel Israeli?
This is our home. We're thoroughly involved. I mean, after a rocky start, those first couple of years, we've become very much a part of the fabric of Israeli society. You see us everywhere you go. We've worked with the foreign ministry in the areas of Haspara. We have sent young people to Eurovision. Our children, as you said, serve in the army. We've represented Israel in academic and cultural and sports events around the world. When you turn on the television, you see our young people in Merutza Million and Israeli Ninja. So we're very much a part of every element of society as you look across the country, employed in various areas. This is our home, and we've grown up together.
So why are we seeing the Israeli government now issuing deportation orders to families?
That's a good question, especially after the fact that for the last almost 10 years, we've been reaching out to government offices, especially the Ministry of Interior, hoping to resolve problem cases that have surfaced. And so it hasn't been on an effort, for lack of effort on our part in terms of looking to solve problems. But after not getting an answer for years and years and years to be responded to with deportation orders, the question becomes why? We're not strangers. Obviously, we weren't hiding. We were trying to find a solution to these situations where people have been here for decades. Young people have born here, grown up here, married here, and having no status. And that's not a comfortable situation to take at this time in the 21st century.
How has the Hebrew Israelite community responded to this order for deportation? What has the reaction been among community members?
Well, first of all, there's been shock, there's been anger, there's been a full range of emotions in terms of what the feelings are. But what's been most gratifying is that as we've reached out in terms of reaching out to inform the public of what has taken place, the overwhelming show of support, and I want to thank the Israeli public as a whole for reaching out and providing some level of comfort and support for members of our community during something of a traumatic time. At the same time, we've also been reaching out to various legal advisors to help us put together an intelligence strategy to respond effectively to the Ministry of Interior's plan. Likewise, we're reaching out to politicians at a difficult time since there's no government. We're trying to find someone who will listen and take some proactive position seeking to cancel this order. There's not many offices that you can go to affect that kind of change. But historically, we've been able to work with a various number of personalities which have come to our aid and worked with us to help advance, not just for us, but for all of Israeli society. We feel like we're a very unique community and have brought a lot to this to the country, both nationally and internationally. And we feel like it's an advantage to all of us to work together and continue in that pattern.
So, if there was any message that you could send to the Israeli government and to people who are watching this and want to learn more about your community and understand its role here in Israel, what would that be?
I would say to the government, reflect the character of your people. The people of Israel have embraced us and we have embraced each other. And if the government would likewise do the same, we would be able to continue to work together and show forth a great deal of light to the rest of the world, which is being torn apart by racial hatred, religious hatred, and all kinds of divisions being played out on our screens every day and on news programs. So I would say reflect the character of your people, reach out and embrace us, work together with us and solve problems, and let's show the world the character of Israel.
All right. Well, I would like to thank you for joining us and kind of giving us some background about your community. I also want to just quickly ask, are we seeing a movement of Hebrew Israelites, Black Israelites outside of the country who are interested in coming to Israel still?
I think every Israelite around the world, not just black ones, but white ones, are interested in coming to Israel. The world is in such turmoil, I think it also turns people's eyes towards Israel much more readily. And I think it's a great opportunity, more so than anything else for us, to show the character of this country and the character of its people. I mean, Israel is much more than a discussion about intifada or occupation or conflict. There's rich history, there's rich life, and there are things worth living and worth sharing here. Our community in Dimona has sought to be a microcosm of that. We try to create what we would call the sane society, where every institution in our community reflects an ability to contribute to the improvement of someone's health. from organic agriculture to veganism to positive music to only natural clothes. So we say, let's be that difference maker in the world.
For those of you who remember, the brethren them usually come here regular. See, them usually come regular and very African-centered, but them more as Israel rather than Africa. Just like Gad. Brother Gad did more as Israel than Ethiopia. Them usually talk about Ethiopia as a gateway to Israel. Because as I say, them see themselves as the 12 tribe of Israel. Well, the brethren them in the Demona see themselves as Israelites, and them actually live that way there. Yeah, them actually live that way there. Them study the Torah, and them have, more than one wife. Benjamin have about 7 wives, and them usually make them own clothes. Them have a tofu factory. All them things, see it. So, they must go in and good. And them allow us to go visit all of the site them where we don't go read about in the Bible. I remember one morning them said them go pray up on Stony Hill. May I tell you, it was Stony Hill. A total venture go up on top of the land. Them a show we say, yes, so Abram did go sacrifice his son. That is what them say. Them say that so Abram never sacrifice his son, but and them show which part Sodom and Gomorrah was. Them show Sodom and Gomorrah, and them show which part them discover the Dead Sea Scrolls. And then we go to Jerusalem, the city of Jerusalem. We go up and we go see Golgotha, the hill of the skulls, the actual hill shaped like a skull, which part them did crucify or supposed to have crucified Jesus and the other people them, and then them show the Garden of Gethsemane and show which part Judas supposed to hang himself. And then we go up on the Mount of Olives. And then we go to Jericho. The fascinating thing about Jericho was the temperature, because them place there below sea level, far below sea level, the lowest place them in the earth as it relates to sea level. And when them show me, well, they never show me, but we are go through Jericho. And when you reach at Jericho, at the city walls, you see it marked, "Welcome to Jericho, the oldest city on earth, 10,000 year old." 10,000 year old, that is older than the Bible. Older than where the Bible said the earth is, or where a man is. Because in the Bible, them say man is 6,000 year old from Adam. From Adam to Noah is 2,000 years. From Noah to Christ, Jesus, according to them, is 2,000 years. And from that time till yes or no, it's another 2,000 years. So them tell you say, all of that is 6,000 years, which, so we're not going to believe them things there. We're not going to believe them things there. Because no man can't tell me, say, the earth where we set up on a man only exists 6,000 years. When we know, say, you have building, where it build up in Africa, over 10,000. And even when you look on them saying Jericho is 10,000 year old, the oldest city, 10,000 year old. Archaeologists them say, geologists them say, Jamaica is 20,000 year old. 20,000 year old, them say Jamaica is. 'So we must know, say, them story there in the Bible, 10,000 year old. 10,000 year old. 20,000 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 year old I forgot wheel and come again. For wheel and come again. So them carry go at Jericho. And the most amazing one of all where them carry go is the Dead Sea, which is not a sea. The Dead Sea is not a sea, you know. The Dead Sea is a lake. But you want to know where the Dead Sea now? It's salt. Salt. And nothing sink in it. Literally, nothing don't sink in it. No fish no in it. But it's a therapeutic mud where people travel from all over the world. Forget this mud, Dead Sea mud. In a whole heap of health food store you go. You see them have Dead Sea mud. And that was the only thing I did say I would have to bring back from them places. Is the Dead Sea mud. Which I did bring back a portion. A portion, you can't just imagine we go so far and all me interested in was to bring back mud. Yeah, man, and we get it in a very peculiar way too. Go in a minefield, a literal minefield. Unknowingly, we are walking at the minefield in the night, 2 o'clock in the morning. We in this minefield and dig up mud. You can't believe that. Because them set the minefield there for the Palestinians, they will come across the river. Yeah.
Remember the days of slavery, included my sister too. Remember the days of slavery. Some of us still survive. Remember the days of slavery, showing them that we're still alive. The days of slavery. Do you remember the days of slavery? Right now it's a brainwashed slavery. History can recall, history can recall. Do you remember the days of slavery? History can recall the days of slavery.
Sour tooth. Asking if you remember the days of slavery. So we're still down in Israel there because at the time when we go down there, Saddam Hussein and them did have problems. You know, they used to drop Scud missiles in Israel, especially in Tel Aviv, which the capital. And you always hear this siren go off. It's like when them know that Scud come, them put on the siren in Tel Aviv. Even the Mona, them have some underground basement where everybody go. 12 tribes of Israel. Unfortunately, them leave out the woman because according to the Bible, them say Israel have 12 sons and 1 daughter. Dinah was the daughter, the 13th child. But them focus on the 12 tribes of Israel. And one of the tribes, them, the main tribe, was Judah. And Judah represent Jews. And the Jews them now that call themselves Jews have no physical relationship with the ones that they spoken of in the Bible. No physical relationship. They are Jews by adoption. Them adopt a religion and call themselves Jews, and them practice the Hebrew way of worship and prayers and all these things. And we go down there, we see the African them down there and do the same thing and still call themselves Jews. And then there was a group of people in Ethiopia named the Falashas. The Falashas, them call themselves the original Jews, where them practice the faith, just like all the ones them in Israel practice it. It is said that during the time of the destruction of the temple, when Solomon go against the Lord and all these things, they had a movement of the tribes after Makeda went back pregnant with Akim or Menelik the first, they started to move out of Israel. And all of the high priests them and all of the high priests them started to move and went into Ethiopia, thus giving the concept or the belief that these men were celebrating Israel tradition and Jewish tradition in Ethiopia. So it is said that these Jews in Ethiopia is much more authentic than the so-called Jews now in Israel. The Jews in Israel is by adoption, not by lineage. Them celebrate Jewish tradition, Hebrew tradition, by adopting the religion coming from up in the cold climates of Russia. Yes, Russia. So it's really a kind of interesting history. That you hear some people say them is Jews, them is Hebrews, them is Israelites. You have black people say them is Israelites. And of course, black people can be Israelites because Israel is not a race of people. Israel is not a race. Israel is a nation. A nation of people come together and make up Israel. And we must remember also that it's not a place named Israel. It was a man. It's a man used to name Israel. Them used to call him Jacob. And him call himself Israel. He who have fought with the Lord and overcome. So them give him Israel. And then all the people them from him was him son them 12 sons, and them call them the 12 tribes of Israel. And them is the one now who claim that they are the chosen people of God, which is really a misdemeanor when a man tell us that God have chosen people. It's really a weird thing. God have chosen people. So where we have now is that these people now fleeing all over the place was given that land, that special land there, where them say God make a promise to Israel. He make a Abram promise first, and him say Abram must go in there, go into the land of the Canaanites. And we find that there's always a struggle over that piece of land. The land of the Canaanites is the same land where the Palestinian them and the Israeli them. There is not none of them land, you know. It's not even the Palestinians land neither. It belongs to the people called the Canaanites. But according to Philem book, God send them in there to say, get rid of the Canaanites them and take the land. So it's, yes, it's weird, man. It's pure thieving things. It's pure thieving thing I go on. Pure thieving thing I go on. This is the Cutting Edge on IRFM.
The time brought to you by IRFM is?
Yeah, the time is 11 o'clock. We're there with you. 11 o'clock on the dot. Yeah, so let's try to explain to you some things we get mixed up over a period of time that become truth. It's weird enough you keep repeating. One was the adopted son, and she never adopted him neither because she run with the mother. For those of you who forget, when we tell you the story, which part this madness between the Palestinians and the Israelis start. We're going to tell you which part it start from. This man named Abram didn't have a wife. He was his half-sister. She named Sarah. And she found out that she couldn't get pregnant. And they had a maid in the house named Hagar, an Egyptian woman. The Egyptian woman named Hagar. And she said, well, if she can't get pregnant, he must go into the maid servant and perpetuate him seed. Meaning, say, well, right now, he must get a child that can continue him lineage. So when him go into the maid get a son named Ishmael. But at the same time, according to the book, God opened the womb of Sarah, and Abram going to Sarah and get she pregnant now, and she have a son now. So the son where she have, this woman see it more legitimate, because if she go get a son now, she don't want the maid servant son inherit where people, when I talk to you about in the Bible, you know, I try to show you how this Israeli and Arab thing start in a big problem with the Palestinians them and the Arab and how them get the land and them base up the land after some argument in the Bible. So I'm show you the argument in the Bible now will lead to in the 21st century, yes, so some people are claim the land but it's not for them own. So the woman have a son named Isaac. Sarah have a son named Isaac. And the maid servant, which is the Egyptian woman, have a son named Ishmael. So in order for the wealth of the father don't go to the maid servant, Sarah run out the woman out of the house. So the woman did have to go into the desert and go have fair son. And fair son go outside there now and bring forth a group of people which now them call Arabs. Them call them Arabs. Them descended from the Egyptian woman and the Iraqi man, because Abram was from Iraq. Abram was from Iraq, and him come out of the land we call Iraq, and then now start to establish himself. So, this son now, from Sarah, which was him half-sister, become now the legacy bearer of the father Abram. So Isaac, who was the son of Abram now, Isaac bring forth a son named Jacob. Everybody know the story, you know, but we are telling the story according to the physical story. We're not talking about no metaphysical nothing, you know. We are talking about where them want you to believe. That is where them want you to believe, me I tell you about, right? Because that's where them put on in them book. So, the Isaac now have a son named Jacob. And then now, Jacob, him have a brother named Esau. And according to the story in the Bible, Jacob and Esau, Isaac become blind. But you know, say the firstborn must get the blessing. The firstborn have to get the blessing, which is Jacob. No, hold go again. Yeah, Jacob and Esau. Esau and Jacob supposed to go to the father and get a blessing. Esau supposed to get the blessing. But the father couldn't see which one of the son them he go bless. Because the mother did prefer Jacob. The mother preferred Jacob. But Esau was them according to them, there was an ear skin man. He did have one heap of ear upon him skin. Jacob now, she decided say she want Jacob to get the blessing. So what she do now, she kill an animal and wrap him with the skin of the area is skin of the animal. And when the father ready to bless the son them, she carry Jacob to the father. And the father bless Jacob. According to the Bible, it's God set it away there, it's a scheme. God has set up a scheme against the blind man. I don't want to say what I have to say. God has set up a scheme against the blind man. Yeah, God has said, all right now, he's supposed to get the blessing, but you know, Jacob, you're going to make it. You know, lady, you what you're going to do now. You'll kill an animal, take the skin, put it over the man, put it over Jacob, and make him go and get the blessing. So Jacob going to get the blessing, and Esau vexed. I tried turning through to kill him too. But then now it come now where the descendants of the woman who did get chased in the desert, which was the Egyptian woman, she take the side now of the other son. For her children, them was part of the other son. So according to them, this is how the Arabs them come about. The Arab them come out from the descendant of Ishmael. And the Israelites them come out from the descendants of Jacob. Because the Bible is concentrating on the 12 tribe of Israel. Because them say in the Bible that God bless Israel, who was called Jacob. God him say, him fought with the Lord and overcome. So, him going to be the chosen ones, his sons going to inherit the earth. So Jacob become Israel, and Israel to Judah. The scepter shall not depart from Judah. You know what that scepter is, where the king carry, you know. The time Israel never have no king. When that go on, Israel never have no king, you know. But him said, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. To him shall the gathering of the people be. That is the blessing him put upon Judah. So it so happened that down in the line now, when all of the madness and the craziness are going with Israel, and them realize them in Egypt, no, according to them in Egypt under bondage. There's no historical reference point outside of the Bible that tell you that there was a group of people in Egypt that was slaves. None. This is only in the Bible you see this. There's no relationship between Israel, Egypt, historically, other than in the Bible. But it so happened that the story I got through, and it started to show you now, all the 12 tribes of Israel now are going to occupy the land where them say flowing with milk and honey. Them are going to occupy the land now by killing out the people them who did first did it, and take them land because God tell them must do it. God said, look, you go into that land and kill out everybody, every man, wipe him out and take the woman them for yourself. That is a commandment where God gave the so-called Jewish people, Israeli people, Israel. Wipe them out. Because them is of Baal, and all of the other gods, them follow the other gods of the people. Them don't want to deal with me, Jehovah God, Yahweh. So anything where there's a warrior God, you know. And the same God now where you tell people say we must love one another and it's another and all them something like that. It's the same God. Same God yesterday, today and forever. So this God, I tell them, say, go kill all the people, them take away them land and occupy the land. That is what the so-called Israeli them use against the Palestinians them today, 5,000 years after, 5,000 years after, according to them. That is what the Israeli them use to occupy the land now known as Palestine. From this story about Israel and the Edomites and Esau and Jacob and Abram and Isaac and Sarah and Agar. This is a story that them put together to make us believe that what them doing now is legitimate because God promised them that land. And if God promised them the land, they have a divine right to the land. So they will do anything to wipe out the Palestinians them, to take away them land from them. Just like our white people. You see, land is power, you know, land is power. And most of the wars that have been fought on earth was fought because of land. Most of the wars. And sometimes it is religiously motivated. This robbing and thieving of people are religiously motivated. When the British go to America and the Caribbean, they were religiously motivated because them never think say the people them were them buck up and over here, so the Taino them and the people them was actually people. Even though them men rape the people them never ever consider them people. But them decide so them go and rape them still. And take with them land. In the name of them Jesus. That is why the first slave ship, when I was a youth, I hear Rastaman at his thing, and I never believed it until I grown up to come realize it's true. The first slave ship, that's Queen Elizabeth. When I talk about this queen here, Queen Elizabeth the first slave ship that was sent to Africa was a ship named SS Jesus of Brubeck by a man named Hawkins. They're not teaching that in a history class. So go and come forward. This is the Cutting Edge on RFM.
They're really rocking, you know?
Yes. Yes, so we'll tell you, we'll tell you the story about how these people come decide, say them, the land was promised to them in a film storybook. The question, do I believe this? No, I don't believe it. I don't believe none of that story there. Because even in the said Bible, way down in the New Testament, they might tell you the story of Abram was an allegory. For those of you who don't know what allegory is, go up on your WhatsApp. Not WhatsApp, go up on your phone and punch in allegory. I will spell again. A-L-L-E-G-O-R-Y. Yeah, A-L-L-E-G-O-R-Y, allegory. If you're looking at Galatians, where Paul write, him tell you say the stories are allegory. So if the Bible tell you say it's an allegory, and we know what's that, who did put that in the Bible? Who say the story is allegory? The Galatians is attributed to Paul. And Paul had said the story is an allegory. Allegory means it's like a story. It never really happened physically. There was no physical man named Abram. There was no group of people in Egypt in slavery, in bondage. It's bring up the story now for show you a certain supremacy. Because even today, them use that same story to justify them apartheid system against the Palestinian people. You know, and we should have really serious with it because you have church people who take up for them, who take up for these people where it's not the true owners of the land. Just like how we come, even in Jamaica, the Spaniards come take the land and then the English come take it back from them. It's pure robbery and thief in Aguan, you know. Pure thief in Aguan. All this way Aguan in Earth, you know. It's just thief. You know, see it? The British, the Portuguese, the French, the Dutch, all of them is thief. The whole of them is thief. Most of the land where they see them have outside of them countries, thief it. All the art, the artifacts and all these things, they thief it. They never contribute nothing to the development of the people them, because most of the time when them go to the people them looking for laborers. That is what them looking for, laborers. When we go into freedom country, we give them science and technology and art, like the Moors who went into Granada and lived for 700 years. The beauty and splendor, the development and the upper lands of Spain was advanced thousands time over because of these people who occupied that land. And in 1492 or 1491, them decided to them go run them out. King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella decided to them can't stay there no longer. Just like how now them a say, the Israelites them a say, the Hebrew Israelites them, I tell you man, history is a terrible thing, you know. Not a terrible thing, but a strange thing. Just like how the Israelites them a say, the Hebrew Israelites them cannot stay in Israel anymore. It's the same way King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella come up and say, look here, only black people will come from North Africa, only can't stay anymore, we have to run them out, and them start to kill them off. And not only that too, them kill them off because they must have a different religion. Because remember, I said them was Muslim, you know. It's Islam that guide the Moors them. And Europe was Christendom, guided by the Pope. So the Pope, if you're against the Pope, you're heretic. You must be getting rid of. So anybody who was not of Roman Catholic under the Pope, they must see them as enemies of the state. So King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella decided to them to create a thing named the Inquisition. We talk about this all the while. But it's good to bring it up back. Them create a thing named the Inquisition. Inquisitive means anybody who was found to be outside of the norm of Christianity, the Pope of Rome, would be burnt at the stake. And them trump up as a charge against you. And them end up in different countries with the same thing. 1492, the brother named Columbus come on at them place and all. And I spread this religion, Jesus religion. And when we know, say, it was going to happen. Because Columbus come on and come see African. Him go America go see African because Africa did that come out of them place a long time before Columbus. There's a book named We Came Before Columbus, Ivan Van Sertima. It's a book where everyone should have read it, should have in a school, but them now put them book in a school. In them book, them show you say African did come on you saw in the Americas long before Christopher Columbus come here. Long before Christopher Columbus. But I'm going to tell you that. And you have to go do your university study on the roadside to find that out. So when them come, and them try to spread them religion, and if you know, come when them appear savage, yet still them record say, them never see such peaceful people. Them never, the people, them are bring fruits and things come give them, and them are fire shot after them. And I talk about the people them, and them make a deal. Lie them I tell. The people them never know Spanish, and them never know where the people them attack. So there could be no communication going on there more than the people them just say a group of people come now and just say them how to treat them because them have humanness in them. And these people who come never have no humanity in them. against people. So when them see the people, them start to kill them out. And them come with all sort of disease and all them something there. Where these indigenous people never know about them disease there. So what we are saying is that we have to look upon what is going on right now as a connection. There's a connection. Everything it does happen also. When we hear about Israeli and Arab war, when the Israeli and the Palestinian them war are going, it not just happen so. It have a thread. Connect it way down before your great grandmother did born. That people come write it in a book and do it in a certain way that you can't connect it. Yeah, when them write it, you can't ever connect it. And we see them try the same thing right now. That's why them talk about promised land. Promise which land? Because them want we know. Rasta must stop talking about promised land. We hear Dennis Brown sing it, but them think they must gone now. Which promised land? Who promised you the land? White people promise you Africa? How that possible? You think we can go a big stand and say, our promised land that? Because we occupy certain part of Birmingham and certain part of Brixton and talk about this a promised land. You know, see what them do? The Windrush people, they must send them home back at this and send them home back at that and trump up a whole heap of charge from black people to send them out. You see them are drawing the Chinese them. That is how it go. So we have to recognize what history have to teach we, so that we don't repeat the same madness. And if we really believe, say, those people who call themselves Israeli have a connection with the allegory story. You have to call it allegory. Allegory. It's like a Brother and Nancy story, but nobody now look on it like a Brother and Nancy story. It's a Brother and Nancy story, Nobody believed that there was spider in that sun. Make the connection between the Bible stories, the allegories that is in the Bible, as we say, and they know what is taking place in this place called Israel, Palestine. And we know that this land, what they call Israel and Palestine, is in Africa. It is in Africa because the only place that divides it is a man-made canal named the Suez Canal that divides it from what they call Asia Minor. So when them say Asia Minor now, them putting it in like East, well, not East, Asia Minor. They will call it Asia Minor because they don't want to make you know says in Africa right there. And that is a Suez Canal, man-made Suez Canal that divide up that land, that portion of land. So that's why we say these two people who's fighting for it is not for them land. It's not for them land either. It's push off the African, them are fight. Pull them, push off the African, them are fight. And them end up in all places. And just like how them push Africans off of the land in Australia. Just like how them push off the Maori people them in New Zealand. Just like how them push off the Native American them off of America. It's amazing. It's amazing that you look at America now and see a white people there. But yet still, them wasn't there. Them go see people and them thief the land. And push the people them on some reservation. That's why them can't fight against Israel. The American government cannot fight against Israel because it's the Jews them control America. And not only control America, but them know say, if them fight against Israel, them have to fight against themselves. Because just what Israel do, which is occupy the land and pushing the people them off of the land. It's the same thing America do. Occupy America and push the Native American them in some reservation. And now call the people them alien. Mexico was once America. Yes. Mexico is part of America. Mexico was Texas. Mexico, at least Texas was Mexico. California was Mexico. And them go there and cut up the land just like what them do everywhere else. And then now say the people them is alien, you have to have passport to go across the border. Because it's pure undesirable as according to Donald Trump in Mexico. So all the undesirable come warm to them who occupy America now. Who is the thief them? Where thief the land from the Native American them? Where you can hardly find any Native American in an American system, in the system itself. Because them is the most disenfranchised group of people in America. That even one time, black people, they farm themselves in something named the Buffalo Soldiers to help white people fight against the American them, the Native American we are talking about, the Indian them. The Buffalo Soldiers used to fight against the Indian them. You see, all them songs they were Bob Marley sing, him a bit wrong. Him a bit wrong. Buffalo Soldiers was a group of black people who side with the white people them to fight against the American them because them did a hope so them would get for them freedom too. And then the American, when them fight the war, they were treated same way or worse than the Native Americans them after the war done. Up to this day. Up to this day, black people who fight for free state in America to make it become a united state. Look how them treat we still after so much years. And we all fight for them. Jamaican go to England and go over to fight for England in the war against Germany. Fight the Royal Air Force. Jamaicans fighting there. And now, right here say, them want to evacuate we. We who fight for England have to have passport and visa for go there. White people who fight against England can just go across the border without even a wink upon them when they go through the immigration. Just check that. Check that. Black people fight for America, fight for England, against the German them, and against the armies of Europe. Fight for them. Help to protect them liberty and justice and freedom. And we have to have passport and visa for go in a for them country. But the people them who did not fight them can go and come as them please. We're going to take some blessed man.
Yes, sir. Powerful program as usual, man.
Give thanks, man.
Yes, I just spoke for the people and I listen to the eye more often still and put the eye teaching into reality, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's one thing I like to motor. I was listening to the IFM news this morning and I hear about a farmer who then hold an illegal gun.
Okay.
And they give him 3 years.
For the gun?
For the gun. You see me? And plus 1 year for the bullets them. So him get 4 years. And him say, why? He might go to the police long time about pre-gal last night.
Nobody not listening.
Nobody not listen to him. You see me? I say,
he might be going to protect him farm.
Himself. Farm.
Yeah.
You see me? I say, police them not listen to him no matter where him go.
Yeah.
No matter where him go. him now get no help. And this is him get a gun because him can't farm for the criminal him all the time.
Yes.
And when them hold him with the gun, then give him 4 years. And then demand them what if the man think they don't catch them. So them saying this man at prison now basically I take care of himself and I defend him thing.
But not only that, him go to Ghana prison and now the criminal them can take him farm.
Exactly. So if when them check the man record is clean, him never have no charges, nothing against the law, nothing.
Yeah,
why is it them couldn't give him, charge him more money and say, alright, don't make that happen again? You see what I say?
Yeah, I agree, Bridget, because the pre-last thing is a terrible thing, you know. You plant some banana and yam, and you look on the yam and you take 1 year it takes to come up, you know. And just as when you go chop the banana to rot, and you go along and you feel, you know, see the bunch of banana, you know, see the yam will dig out. It's a terrible thing, man, terrible feeling, man.
Terrible thing, so you send the trial, man, a prison now, which means farm mash up.
Yeah.
You understand me? And I know of people who accidentally kill people, who intentionally kill people and all these things. And them don't even go to prison, them just steal the money and them gone. And
the pre-last them get where the thief them get where.
The thief them get where, and this man they are jail now and them go ransacking farm now. How about him family, how about him children them? I don't like the man great now. No
Yeah.
I think them should have just charged him money and say, alright, since you have a situation like that and the police can't be there before the crime, them always come after.
Yeah, you have to be lenient to them kind of people, man. You have to be lenient to them kind of situation. You have to look on, even though the law there, but you have to look on the situation, man.
Right.
Yeah.
It hurt me, man, you know what I mean? It hurt me bad, so...
Which part of man they come from? Which part him come from?
You know, I never really... hear where you come from still, you know. I never hear where you come from, and now I lie to you, but maybe you go back up on the 11 o'clock news today, the 11:45 news, and you probably could have heard it.
Yeah, terrible, that kind of weird.
Terrible, man.
Yeah.
The man I go for him honest bread, and you can't find the criminal them. And the man come to you so many times before, and the police them can't do nothing about it, and now the man decides, alright, I'm going to press him thing, and you send him away? That hurt me.
Yeah,
but anyway, just keep doing a wonderful job still.
Yeah, man,
they are listening to you, and sure enough people are listening, except these people are dying for them learn and realize which part we're there. And they think, why we can't move from where we're there is because we don't know where we is, so we don't know where to go.
We're going, alright, so blessed man.
Yes, I.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, most honorable.
Blessed man.
Yes, I. Project from outside Brownstone or into that.
Okay. Talk, man.
Yeah, I told you things want to test there, you know. I don't know if you can't one idea them before the eye pass and say, why you agree a night with all of your music them and all of your poetry them and thing, you know.
We did do one when we have the award from Irie, you know, we did do a program like that. I talk about the history of the music and how we did write them and we never hear it.
Yeah, tribute, man. Me they tune in a time because I want a refreshment and now because what is that things are doing now?
You want a refreshment?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, I highlight that, you know, because all heap of people may get tribute, you know, when I'm gone, but I want to hear something again before, you know.
All right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, man, and then more make few little shout out now, you know.
Yeah, all right.
You know, big and fast. Yeah, big up DJ Kemar, you don't know, highlighting things.
All right.
That, yeah, big up Jeffrey, that's the same here. And we are going to highlight the top cop in Brownstown, Mr. Nevers, condolences to his family again. And big up everybody who turn up and engraved him today. Yeah, Leon and Charlie, them man, they see him here. I have to them. Everybody who turn up today, now come show him some love. It's top to Brownstown, Mr. Nevers.
Which part of them bury?
Big up the whole Brownstown, lower box, middle box now. All I listen to them, who listen to FM, who tune in and hear Praggy all the while. Shout out, yeah.
Well, I'm going to marry the Volkswagen.
Up Kia Valley up there, sir. But the man with the Volkswagen, them, they are see me, man.
All right, give thanks,
anytime you're ready, man. Anytime you're ready, man. One of them did that for you. We can't tell them out. You have to get the first preference, you know?
All right, sir. Give thanks. That is a dangerous situation where you go tell people, boy, you're perfect. Yes. And so over there with you, I go through the paces, because certain things just anger we, and we just don't like how we nonchalantly just look on it like, I don't know, nothing, you know. Maybe it's because them don't emphasize it much here, as we talk about the Israeli them and the government expel the Hebrew Israelites them who did there for decades, set up themselves there, families, band there and all them something there, and them contribute to the Israel society. But racism is a serious thing. Yeah, racism, man. Terrible, 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 terrible. And we find that in a whole heap of different places, you know. Yeah, we find that in a whole heap of different places. When black people decide to them go second certain place, a group of people just come and say, no, we don't know that. When we know, say, most of the people them will tell you, say, you can't stay at certain place. A thief, them thief land. Thief, yes. Man, I said, this world was mine. Yes. We have come up to the 12 o'clock hours, yeah. We're going halfway through the program, you know. And we have to take the call them. Yeah, we have to take the call them. So we will just take a time signal there, so the 12 o'clock time signal, and come forward. You know, them have the anthem. We said, guide us and protect us from above. All these little reasoning, you keep repeating it. People start to repeat it and don't think why them say it. You understand? But that's the way the cookie crumble. At 12 o'clock now, you know, 12 o'clock.
Brothers and sisters, this is Chalice. Join us with respect for our national anthem. Let us stand and defend this one. Peace and love. Thank you. Eternal Father, bless our land. Guide us with thy mighty hand. Keep us free from evil powers. Do our life through countless. To our leaders, great defenders, great true wisdom from above. Justice, true, be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica.
Yes, slide down bar. Scene. And Mr. Robbie. Scene. Stay tuned to RFM. Mutabaruka, cutting edge. Scene. I'm slide down bar. My man named Robbie Shakespeare. Stay tuned to RFM Mutabaruka. Right now, this is the cutting edge. Scene. It's a Muta. The man rough. It's just tough. Cutting edge, sharp.
My mama pray, she pray. My mother pray, she pray. Night and day, mama pray. In the name of Jesus Christ, mother pray, she pray for me. Feel the blood of Jesus Christ, till dopey run and demons flee. In the name of Jesus Christ, my mother pray, sing praises to the Most High King. To the Lord she kneels and cries and claims a victory. Mother would lay her hands with the Holy Ghost on me. Lord, have thine own way is the song, covering her head as she lives. Right by my bedside, as she plead the blood against all adversary. Bind every plan of the enemies. Mama prays Christ. She claims healing, sickness take its flight. In the name of Jesus Christ, my mother prays, sing praises to the Most High King. To the Lord she kneels and cries and claims a victory. Yeah. Just like a mother hen covering her chickens beneath the wings, we would always feel warm and safe when mother is home with us children. Cause when danger approaches, when evil present themselves, mother get down in prayer. Her defense is in the name of the Lord. Mother prays, cover us under the blood in the name of Jesus.
Yes, mother prayer. For years, mother pray, you know, in the name of Jesus Christ, shedding the blood, washing the blood of the Lamb, and things get worse. With all the COVID, I don't see no group of church folks, including the pastor, them a go in the place where the COVID them, they are help the people them forget better. Them have to wear masks too, and of course because the government said they must limit how much people in a church. Like them not realize the church help for really perpetuate this COVID thing. It have nothing to do with how the government are fight against church. It have nothing to do with no fight against no church. They must understand that. Because what them do can't help them from COVID. Can't help them from COVID. We have said that.
The kick, the sneer, the hi-hat, the bass representing the riot. The next sound is for those who are quiet, the Goliaths. Britain, Rome, Spain, look what you did to the black side. Yeah, you slave us, I'm in pain, yet you put a whip to my backside. You see that good ship, Jesus? Guess what? I'm glad it didn't capsize. You know why? On the inside, my people were on that side.
I was start over this tune about my question something because people here will mention, say, Queen Elizabeth I, the slave ship. Listen to me and I say, where Muta get them foolishness from? Well, check your history. Check your history. The people, them have the audacity to call all John the Baptist too, them have ship named John the Baptist. You think them are easy? You think them easy? Yeah, man. The Jesus name, the ship named Jesus. You can just imagine that we go in Africa, in the dungeon, them and see which part them used to keep the African them. And the dungeon them, in the place where them used to store wine and rum, them transform it into slave dungeon. And which part of the African them stay, downstairs. Them pack up the whole of our African ancestors them in these dungeons, waiting to be taken through the door of no return. And on top of the dungeon them have church service a go on. Yes, these Europeans have church service a go on. And right at the gate of the dungeon them, two church outside. As you go enter the dungeon, so you guys, as a group that talk about the slave ship. Yes, yeah. Blessed man. How you doing? Man.
Hey, name of that song, because some of them more call it arc. What name of that song?
Slave Ship.
Who do it?
King Frank and you know King Frank, it says King Fragrance.
King who?
Fragrance. King Fragrance. Like smelling, like have a smell, yeah, fragrance, yeah. Slave Ship.
Me love it.
Yeah, man, I go tune, man. Good tune.
You know, we just continue what you say with the
Palestinian.
the twin them. Both the twin them, you know, Esau and Jacob.
Oh yes.
You know, Esau when come out first, so he went really.
Him are the older one supposed to have the blessing.
Yeah. But anyway, it come again. Even before that still, you know, some thief in business they go on because Laban. Yeah. Remember when he left when he leave with Leah and Rachel?
Yes.
I don't know before or after. Well, when he left with Rachel and his sister, Laban, Leah. Rachel, they take away some little them. Yeah. If he find it, but when time he go when he search everybody in the crew and him not find it, and when he go search Rachel ball out in depth and in period.
Yeah.
So then nobody search the idol them hide.
Yeah.
Because them little idol there, I want decide descendants, inheritance.
Inheritance, yeah.
So when she teach them and keep them, pick them way inherit everything your father got. After then thief in business, they go
and God set up them something there, and God set them up.
Yes.
God set it up, because the Bible tells you God set it up.
All right. So with the Israel business there now, and the Canaanite and the Palestinian them. Moses, when Moses had traveled, remember say the first and the last time him see the promised land. God make him go up on Mount Nebo or whatever they call it. And got one of the name for it. But then make him go up there and look, say me I go show you. So when God do that spice, you know.
But you never go there.
But you can't go there.
You never go there, yeah.
The only reason that in the Israelites them said that, tell that a lie. Saying go up there and see, because back in them days there, up until we down in the 19th century, any land where you're going, you go capture, you go take things and things. As far as you climb the highest part where you can go, and as far as you can see, are yours. And then even they do that out west in the US.
But that them do the maroon them too. You know, carry them go on top of the mountain as far as I can see are yours. Yeah.
Right. So at that time, Moses call out the whole island and you can see very, and that is belong to the Israelites in perpetuity. That means them generation.
Yeah, and them wage a war against the occupants of the land them and kill them out.
Kill them out. Like, but you know, God will tell him, say, and you want to kill out everybody and move everybody. Anyone who left there go be like us, you're freaking your eye.
Yeah, man.
The same thing where me tell you if you do to them, that me go make them do to you.
It's an Italian thing, man. You know, the Italian mafia stay away there, you know. Don't see the picnic, you know, because the picnic we grew up with vengeance.
You know, that's a small wolf, one big wolf.
Yeah, man. But the story them sound good, but as we said before, it's just stories. It have nothing to do with the history or nothing. It's not a historical fact. You know?
Well, I want to tell you something still, you know. When we take it and say, all right, so the whole light of allegory, the Christian, them have to sit around, you know, them I go tell you, any one of them with those studies and things, I go tell you, say, Paul did I use that to describe and take it as an allegory to describe the bandage thing and pass and say, okay, that they represent the free woman and that represent Hagar.
Yeah, well, you have a train of thought out there where tell you say the Old Testament was written before the New Testament, you know. Yeah, you have a train of thought to say that is why them could have show you say, you know, that Paul could have talked about it, because Paul had talked about it as an allegory, it never real.
Because Paul up here, everybody who up here write different places when they start in church.
In Europe. Yeah, in Europe,
because I am bringing everything else. We are bringing the Gentiles, we are bringing everybody.
Yeah, white people, white people. Call nothing that time, kill and clean. Yeah, man.
God, the God in the Bible was supposed to be the Israelites' God.
No Gentile God, yes.
People.
Yeah, man.
We have nothing to do with it. Yeah. You know, say God went there when he built the tabernacle. When he say,
no flat nose people.
Why am I saying? He saying he ate Esau. Esau, I'm saying he ate.
Yeah. All my people him eat and jealous. He say, God is not jealous God, you know. God is not jealous God.
What you call the anthropomorphized.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to try this to break and come forward. Hold on there.
Many of our brothers and sisters lose hope when diagnosed with HIV. Some lose their will to continue being a part of society. Others are despaired by the challenges of keeping up with their treatment. We understand. But remember, people with HIV live normal and progressive lives every day. You can too if you get back on track with your HIV treatment. Live for you, live for someone, live for something.
Get back on track, get back to life.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
ReFM.
Hi, I'm Malia Destiny Mirror. In observance of Child Month, here's a reminder from us children. Every child has a right to be alive. Governments must ensure that children survive and develop in the best way possible.
ReFM, are they lick that?
You hear? Yes, we're there with you. Yes, brethren, you there still?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we'll talk about Abram and the confusion it brings, because when you really check it, you see, the chosen people, it's not everybody in the world it relates to. Obviously, it's the 12 tribes of Israel. So, when you hear people talk about Jesus come for them, Jesus never come for no Gentile, he come for the last house of Israel, according to what the Bible says. So if you want to believe it, you have to believe it, say, really and truly, it's the last house of Israel him come for. He never come for me and Congo.
Yeah, but I tell you, say, even no. But you can see the same accord go down and all of the Christian nation them are doing. Where then come rob and rape the whole Africa.
Yeah.
Same way. But that's what the president said in the Bible. For him, when Moses left Egypt, God tell them they must make all of the women, them who are work with the Egyptian, them borrow them jewelry, put on and go and play around on them expensive clothes.
Yeah.
Now when you leave with it.
Yes.
Don't thief, you are thief. God tell us to go thief people them sitting.
Yeah, one of the times they kill off the whole of the man in the city and keep the woman them for yourself.
I mean, want to know if God is all seeing God and all knowing God. When time when them go kill the first man them. How come Israelites have to mark their house with the blood to make God know his part then?
Yeah, not a quarantine, man.
Everybody knows that Moses got a couple man, some assassin where my God
kill them. No way, the way you think it was.
Chaos.
So where you think it was? Where you don't really think it was? I saw murderer walk on the place and I kill people.
Then do. And the first set of terrorists them there, no man.
Now talk about destroyer where it's mark the door them that Moses soldier them could have just know so well. Don't kill them people there in another house there.
No, that's all.
Yeah, man, and them CIA going out Pharaoh house go kill half him son. Think them easy. People believe that something will come, like in the movie. Golden, where name again? The Ten Commandments. You see a green something now come through the town like smoke. See the destroyer. The Ten Commandments from the Charlton Heston. Charlton Heston, people are screaming at the city and all them really, which no go so. If someone was supposed to say some man I kill the people them, look for the first one them and kill them.
Like him say, the allegory and the whole of that, everything. They just make up story for keeping people together.
Yeah, man, of course. I like them.
Everyone ain't got them pick up one little bit from them people.
Yes.
And then pick up one little bit from them people. And then go on. Because when the story start, no devil never there.
No devil never there.
Never there, no.
No.
Now we run a job, you go find Satan.
Beelzebub and Baal and them thing there, yeah.
That after they come back from the exile, and they come back on Zoroaster, they learn about
Zoroastrianism, yes.
God good and bad.
Mazda, it's the God name, one of the God name.
Don't think that's all kind of name.
Yes.
Them still. And them name they come down and them change them, like one of them I say like a Aphrodite and Astratable.
The kind of Greek.
The Greek and the because they come down Greek and Roman. Roman God. You know, the whole of them Zeus. The story of Moses. See me, because when we read one thing out of Gilgamesh.
Yes.
When you read about that, you see the flood. That's not a 5,000 years before the story of Moses.
Yeah, man.
And before the story of Noah, I mean. With Moses, when the master put him on the river in the bulrush, you got an identical thing.
Story, you know.
And that was Saga of Akkad.
Yeah, but the flood story, now only for different people, different
people, yeah.
Yeah, only for people have that story there. But people say, dupe, Virgin, we get duped. Believe you me, we get
story
duped.
just get bigger and bigger. Paul just come and hijack the story very well and just make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
you know, see.
Create a man named Jesus in a head. If he says a man really did it. Well, anyway, we are good shows still, you know. Try so much people can understand what we are saying. Because a long time we are saying it and...
You see the allegory thing when you talk about it, huh? If you see, them have, like if you go Italy again, so you can go, them have some fresco pan, then kind of Siena. The city hall in Siena. We then doing like 1400s and so. You will see, because allegory, I like painting on them, you know, when they have one painting here, allegory of good government.
Yeah, man.
And you can look on here and see where they put, you know, to say. Because everything, mostly allegory. Any painting you see in the drawing, because even when you see the comic strip them in a newspaper, when they allegory them, you know, when they talk about the go,
them Brother Nancy story no allegory, man.
Yeah, I used to call the story all the time.
Yeah, Brother Nancy story allegory, man. It's not going to do no spider attack and a walk or something there.
And I saw them people that talk back in them day, the allegories and parables and all them things there.
You remember the other day we did talk about animal farm. Animal farm is an allegory. George Orwell's biggest allegory is an animal farm.
Of course. Yeah. That's how dictator business going on.
Yes.
Dictator business, you look past it now, you say, you know, someone want to change this car, wickedness, them are going with, and when there's somebody going, or the group of people going, them go start to the same thing.
Yeah, well, that's
the big them start to walk on 2 foot like man. After them make last, you know, it we. Start wear the clothes, eat round table. But in order to perpetrate and go on with it, them take with the Doberman them and go train them.
Yeah.
And the Doberman after them pick up them police that know like doing police was that Jamaica now.
Yeah.
The government a friend of the police them
Yes. Yeah, man, them things them want the people them read up and understand, you know, but very difficult to get a group of people who just have to depend on food, clothes and shelter. And not them education and information station. You know, it's very difficult for them to deal with.
Information easy to get now, because you can just Google
anything you want, anything. All when me attack us or now. All when me attack us or now, me attack. People can Google where we are saying. To say for true we are saying.
Convenient, you know, but me love read the old book them. And when me go to the old book them, me look for them, the older book them.
Yeah.
Because to me, them closer to the truth, and then closer to the when the event will happen or anything like that.
Yeah. Anyway, give thanks, Virgin. Yeah, man. All right, this
Patrick
is...
X. I shout out Patrick X.
Patrick X, all right.
Yeah, man, brother, he listen to you every day and he go anything you know here, he pull them up off YouTube.
All right, Patrick X.
Youth, I'll send me credit just to make sure I say more I hear you call more time.
All right, so Patrick X.
Man, all right, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. All right, we'll take a break.
From the National
Big tune that in Africa a couple years ago. Today I play it for you. Yes, today I with you, I got through the pieces, you know. Still I take phone call. We just did a talk about Israel and the Palestinians, them, and two different situations we mentioned, if you just a join with. One was the bombing we are going now in a Palestinian land by the Israel them, and the Palestinians them are fire back bombs in Israel. So that is causing some big war going there. Plus the plan for Israel to really get rid of the Hebrew Israelites them out of the Mona, send them back to America. After them did it for nearly 40 years, them did it. Yeah, long time them did it, man. Long time them did it. Them say no, them have to go leave. That them tell the Hebrew Israelites, them say them have to go leave. That is really what it's talking about for the whole night, and we are show the connection between the lack of connection between the so-called Israeli them now and the historical so-called Israelites, you know, and we are showing you the genesis of the war, Romans, and who coming way up in the north of Europe there. You understand? You did have some people where from the north too, where they raid and actually destroy the greatness and the upper lands of Egypt, called the Ixos. The Ixos. Not many people know of them, but them come and the dynasties of Egypt was taken out and replaced by these white people in Egypt. You have to go back and look on all them history there and see how it connect, how all the things connect to now. Israel just happen, you know, out of the blue, so things will happen now, not just happen out of the blue. It connected. Always see go on connected with something else when it go on before. It just saw it go. It's a chain reaction of things. That's why when we say we are the ones we've been waiting for, it's we did it from them time there until now. I continue the journey until this time. But I only probably don't want to find out, say, real and truly, we are going now have a direct relationship with where it going before. And we are going before we have a direct relationship with where we are going now. Yes. Yeah.
Blessed love Mutabaruka.
Blessed man.
I will live with strength.
Every time.
Right now,
see the whole of the people on our reprogramming. And them stop full of people that want to them pure life. And a colonial and imperialism of schism. So as long as we can get the people them and reprogram everything alright, you know, the black people them have black skin, but them have European system. By the church and the school. Fear the people them, you know. Youth them, you know. I see all these killing we are going, the woman them and the man them. Them people there, them mind the condition, you know, from them time they want till this time, you know, because the teachers tell them I get in the school and in the church. Them have the black supremacy. So from them have the black supremacy teachment, you know, them colonial system, just have them system over teachment, so them get ignorant of things and stupid. So them stand up to resist it. So that's why they need to reprogram the system right now because if they want a better life to all away. Enough people do things, them do things, but none of them have themselves to do it, you know. Or them reprogram them, program the system and program the people, them, you know, that's why them have all them institutions. To carry the people, them go when them earn power and set it up that way there. So people have to realize what I know. Look at get to my real program. I could start to do them from the school, the church. All the politicians them too. They have to go real program for them mind. Them people them too proud and scornful because what they want to do. All of them, you know, I want to feel them thing. The colonial system thing them do. I feel like them are doing it of them own personal individual self. Because them are them own personal individual self. Them could not anger people someone. Them could not be people saying, okay, right, I know, the love none of them, you know. Them are cool like ice, man. Them behavior. So we need to just do that. And just know to watch out. People are people, and people are skin, flesh, and bone, and blood. So care what them do right now. And we them are work with. Them are work for the colonial system, Serbia. And go on, like I said, them are do something good for we. Them not do something good for we. Everything them do, them look like a good thing them do. Them need to please themselves and please colonial system. So we have to have a choice now and realize. So the people them have do some things there and them murder a woman, murder a relation and all them things them are going with. The colonial system from in them days there and Henry Morgan and them piracy and them things them have find black people and kill them out, woman and kill them out and gamble upon them. We need to know that. So from this them things that come from. So it just spill down around us now. So until we can realize, each and every one can realize that. So watch out. Time for realize no. Enough time I tell them the things them know, but watch out. Them slow to learn. Enough no one learn. Because them feel like them too proud. Because you must say, ooh. The Rasta boy come from them tell me thing no one come to read them thing and no one look how long we there yeah. They're not too old to learn or too young. Knowing because know ourselves from the strong to resist against all fascism, you know. So we have to learn can't stubborn yourself when you know the truth. That truth shall set us free. And I work with voice around every day. And stop the ignorance because we shame for ourselves. Because the teachment, we need the thing, man.
Yeah.
We need the right thing.
All right, brethren, give thanks.
Yeah, man, let's go and deal with fullness, Virgin, because they are protected by truth and right, you know, because when I speak truth, I'm going to try, you know. It's about truth.
All right.
Love can save the nation, you know.
Yeah, man, give thanks, brethren. Give thanks. Give thanks. Brethren have a lot to say, man. A lot to say. Music from North Africa, Algeria. This is kind of music where you don't have, where you have the ear. Yes, out of North Africa.
Muta.
Ah, blessed morning, go ahead, man. 1 o'clock exactly, you call, man. You call exactly 1 o'clock, man.
Yes. 100 that. Yeah, man, I'm glad you reinforced the lesson as usual, the education that our people as African people must get rid of this false identification with this fairy tale thing about Israelite and Abram and them thing. You know, Abram and Moses never exist. Them are just myths, lies. No record of them things about no Exodus and no Red Sea and Moses and Israelite business apart from what they make up. Nowhere else in history. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we call it allegories.
Yes, and so many of our people believe that this thing is literal. I mean, as you say, Anansi is allegorical. You know what I mean? But we really do also have to, besides showing our people that not to identify beyond no Israelites and belong to no tribe and no Israel and them nonsense, which is myth and thing, is that we must also at the same time teach our original different African religions and spirituality, like the Ashanti and Akan people. The name for the creator is Niami or Onyami. And in the Yoruba, the name for the creator in Yoruba, which is Olodumare. So our people must get used to that. And we have all a name where a lot of people in Jamaica hear it and think it's so-called nickname. You know, sometimes you have some people, you call them Chuku. But Chuku is the Igbo word for the creator.
Yeah,
Chuku is the Igbo word for the creator. Just like how, you know, when we are grew up and things, we hear people will call an older man, African man, Baba. Baba, the Yoruba word meaning father. So,
and Nana, mother there.
And Nana is a royal name. Yes, from the Akan Ashanti. Yes, Nana. N-A-N-A, but it pronounced Nana. Yes? So what we have to teach our people the real, our African religions and spirituality, because to get rid of this lying thing that has mentally enslaved our people, because we know them use them Christian religion to enslave the mind of our people, and all the SS Jesus of Lubeck ship there with John Hawkins and Elizabeth I, where she financed to go capture and enslave Africans and bring them. You know what I mean? You know, you have all a place of Portland there, right beside St. Margaret's Day, named Wider. wider. A lot of people don't know say that name wider is coming from to Jamaica, and our people call that district wider in memory of beer, of beer in our African motherland, in a Benin. So wider besides St. Margaret's Bay in a Nana land, where they misname Portland, after the Duke of Portland. It's an African place in West Africa, Benin. We have also enough good friends from wider the side of St. Margaret's Bay. And most of the people, in fact, they don't even know that wider is an African name. I have to tell them that. Like I said.
Well, I will probably know. I will probably know still. I will probably know.
Yes. Whole heap of thing, you know what I mean? So, really, keep up with the good work where you do, man, and
so we are going in England. Tell me we are going in England now, man. Oh, you left, so tell me we are going in England.
Well, I tell you we are going in England. Them had that election last Thursday the 6th. And Sadiq Khan win from Sean Daly, the Conservative thing. But even if Sean Daly did win, both him and Sadiq Khan have done nothing to African people because both of them pledge loyalty to the same so-called Jews them. Well, you not talk about earlier. Yes, the so-called Jews them. And nothing regarding African people or specific interests. You see what I deal with? Sadiq Khan, him deal with Muslim and Pakistani, Indian specific problems we affect us as African people. You see what I deal with?
Yeah.
Because, for example, for them solution to so-called crime is stop and search African people, especially the youth, them at random.
Like suspicious law, like the suspicious law.
Yes, the suspicion, exactly. That is for them solution. More police, more stop and search. No programs for places where you can educate the youth and gain profession so that they can earn money rather than have to depend on criminality to survive, Nothing to deal with the high rate of expulsion from school, exclusion of our African youth who get excluded from schools due to racist teachers, Nothing to deal with that, You see what I deal with? Them respect them. And next thing to them, the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, he is a Hindu, a practicing Hindu, right? Hindu religion, right? But there is nothing to respect African religions or spirituality. So Muslim religion is respected, Jewish religion is respected, Christian religion is respected, but African religions and spirituality not recognized and respected. You see?
So when the blacks, you know, have no group of African people that will come together and do something about them things, man.
Yes. What happened in the past? There have been some attempts to come together to present a united political front. You hear what I say? But guess what happened? Truth is truth, Muta. God's can't kill the truth. The power struggle between certain individuals in the same thing that's supposed to come in, one individual want to be in charge over others, that type of thing. Them petty personal thing. You see what I say?
Yeah.
Yes, I tell you. Because, people want to be in charge. It's like you and join a church or a so-called master or some other and power struggle. That kind of selfish thing whereby you see that people who claim say them a deal with the interests of the community. Actually about them personal power trip. You see what I deal with? But that don't stop me and other Africans still from working and doing what we have to do to present what we have to say on behalf of our people. You know what I mean? Because we can't allow negative individuals like that to stop us from doing the positive work. Because if you don't do the positive work, then it's total defeat. As you realize, you see what I say? And that is why I keep you posted. And as we speak, I am still in the process of completing it to finish African political agenda. I mean, I just mentioned some of the things a while ago that must be dealt with and so on. And as soon as that is done, I'm going to send that to you and to other people too. You understand what I deal with? That the things that we as Africans must have as our agenda as Africans in Britain. And we kind the expression AID, Africans in Britain, to deal with our specific situation here and wherever Africans are in Jamaica. We as Africans in Jamaica too have to have our specific agenda to deal with our African interests in Jamaica. Because other racial groups in Jamaica, as you know, Chinese, Indians, Europeans, Jews, them always have their agenda and push their agenda, you know. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right, man. You're right.
Eh?
You're right, man.
Remember me and you born and go and see the Chinese, them have to them Chinese association, you know.
Yeah, man. Chinese Benevolent Society.
The Indians, them have to them Indian association, you know. The Jews, them have to them association, you know. The Europeans, them in Jamaica have to them association, you know. Eh? And we as Africans in Jamaica, who we are the majority, and Jamaica, de facto, by right, belong to we, because the blood, sweat and tears of our ancestors pay, not just in Jamaica, but for all of the islands in the Caribbean.
But remember, say, we came before Columbus, you know. We came before Columbus.
Precisely.
We was in the Americas long before Columbus.
Yes, and it is the enslavement and transport of our ancestors who forced labor, enslaved labor, that built and made Britain have the biggest empire in history.
Of course.
And made Britain have the first industrial revolution in modern times. Is our ancestors' blood, sweat,
plus people and scrupulous.
Yes. And again, we now stop say Jamaica must become a republic. How can you have as the head of Jamaica someone who is a foreign monarch? And who was the chief beneficiary of the enslavement of our people? And the Governor General don't represent people of Jamaica, but represent this foreign, oppressive, racist, imperialist power. And outlaw, and to this day, African religion still outlawed in Jamaica. You know that too, because if you're looking at the law books, then them still outlaw opium and any manifestation of African religion where them tell life on.
Yeah, you have a Rasta man a fight against opium too.
Exactly.
Because him not understand. Him not understand it. Him not understand it.
Him not understand.
And come and follow the same thing everybody has say. You know, after him supposed to be conscious.
The same religion. Exactly. I follow the same religion of the racist down pressers then.
We are telling us anything where African no good and bad and sinful and corrupt and evil.
And I don't talk about Israel and Zion. Africa you have to deal with. We are Africans, we are not Israelites, and no Hebrew, and no Jew. Africa is our center, as Marcus Garvey said, Africa must be our guiding star. We not look for no Mecca. We are not no Arab Muslim.
No, sir.
Yes, we are not no Muslim.
50
years.
Yeah, we have to move, though. We have to move.
Yeah, man. Some people are doing the good work and
man.
Send the African agenda, and we want you to read that out to people when we send it to them.
All right. Yeah, man. Yeah, give thanks. We're going to take a break and come forward.
Many of our brothers and sisters lose hope when diagnosed with HIV. Some lose their will to continue being a part of society. Others are despaired by the challenges of keeping up with their treatment. We understand. But remember, people with HIV live normal and progressive lives every day. You can too if you get back on track with your HIV treatment. Live for you, live for someone, live for something.
Get back on track. Get back to life.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Hi, I am Ozebian Henry. May is Child Month. Happy Child Month to all the children around the world.
Yeah. This is not a USA. Iowa FM is roots rock reggae. Hear this. And all them other liquid stations, what me say? A straight reggae. You hear that?
Can't believe that the only religion black people ever had was Christianity or Judaism or Islam. They forget that the first known religion was the worship of Ptah. P-T-A-H, along the Nile. There was no Adam and Eve mentioned any place yet because there was no Judaism, and if there's no Judaism, there's no book of Genesis.
But you went so far as to say that the virgin birth, Adam and Eve, Noah,
were all repetition, and they could read the works of...
You said they're myths.
They're myths. All religion is myths. Religion is based upon belief.
There are people who would bet their lives that Jesus was born.
There are people who are dying to go into cemeteries. But that doesn't make things stop. The way we were taught as if there was no other religion but Judaism, Christianity, or Islam. There were religions, and our religion way older than...
All right, let me get to this because I see time is creeping up on us. We were sitting around the dinner table, some students and people, and the question came to you both. The way you sound, you guys may not believe in God or something.
I am married to an ex-nun, an ex-Roman Catholic nun. I drive her to 35 years we've been married a few days ago, and I drive her to church on occasion. I'll go in and listen. I'll go to the mosque. I'll go to the Buddhist temple. I go to anybody's religion because religion is a belief. Nobody has it. Now, you ask if I believe in God, you must first explain, because I met the guy that robbed my house, believed in God. He had a big cross on his chest when they caught him. And down at the prison, he believed. That didn't stop him from robbing my house. Believing in God don't make you good or bad. The Ku Klux Klan believe in God. The one thing that they said that they have established a religion to protect the name of Jesus. And so read the whole philosophy. But most of the people here in the Bible Belt will cut your throat for being black. Did the Bible stop them from being racist? No. That doesn't mean a thing because you believe. You believe in your behavior are two different things. And people ask, you believe in God, you don't believe in God. So what that means? It doesn't mean I won't cut your throat.
Okay, but you said earlier that if we start paying black preachers tomorrow morning,
the church will close. How many of them come in to do volunteer work? It's a business. It's a salary people get out of it, whether it's Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, or what.
Christianity and religion as we know it is a business?
Big business. biggest business is bigger than AT&T.
You get all kinds of tax breaks and all kinds of privileges when you're a minister.
His salary is paid. You think the Pope would be there if he didn't get a big salary? He didn't get the big salary of all. Do you think, no, let's face it, how many ministers you know doing it for free? Just tell me.
Okay, this is
black. If you don't pay your 10%, don't get married as if you have to pay.
What are we to learn from all this? How are we to change our lives? Or how will it change our lives in the better, or can it?
No, I am not against anyone believing in a God system. To the contrary, I do believe in a God system. A system. But what I'm against is that for African people, and by the way, you're Africans, you know, you may not know that, but just remember, if you get a rabbit and put it in an oven, and the next day you go in and it has little ones, you don't call them biscuits. And if Africans come to America and got little babies, they're Africans. Okay, I know you don't like that when you look in the mirror because you can't think you're an African. But anyhow, I have no objection at all. My children, I have a daughter who's a Jehovah's Witness. I have...
Does that bother you?
No, it don't bother me because I train my children. And I know what they believe and don't believe.
Yes. Ben Yokanan. Yes, Ian.
Yeah, greetings, Motor.
Iron man, blessed man.
Yeah, man, one of the biggest business, especially in Jamaica, boy. I tell you.
No, man, I tell you, man, a big business, man. Big business. Tax-free business.
Three quick things more I talk about still, you know. Quick and fast, because you know the time not too there.
That's what I say.
All right. Sweet pepper, yeah? When you have the sweet pepper now, when you plant them, because I try to plant sweet pepper from when and them.
No, well, you know, I don't plant it no special time, you know.
Oh.
I don't plant it no special time. I just plant it when I feel to plant it.
Oh, so it coming like on the soil are the problem then?
Yeah, maybe on the soil.
Because I do pepper. Scotch pepper.
The pepper them come? The pepper them come?
Yeah, man, I get
that. Yeah, then the pepper said we, man.
Well, I don't know how I go on for sweet pepper.
I plant sweet pepper and them catch. I never think which time I plant it. I just plant them.
Because you know some people are say, boy, when a full moon. And
yeah, well, that go for some of the food them, but not
for some of the food them.
Okay. Yeah, but I don't know about the sweet pepper and the bird pepper and... But just plant pepper any time I want to plant pepper.
Yeah. All right. Secondly, now, where you going? Me hungry, see?
Yeah.
Where you the order? Because I know you love your cane juice and everything there. But I never hear you say, boy, yo.
Anything we're in there, man. Anything we're in there. Anything we're in there, trust me. The burger, them, the nyam. No, you me like, no.
Yeah.
Me like the... What them call the pie them. It's with cane juice.
Oh, instead of sugar, they use the cane juice.
No, we don't use sugar. We don't use sugar at all. No way, no farm. Dark sugar, nor clear sugar, nor white sugar. We don't use no sugar at all. You know, sugar, cane juice sweeten all juices.
Yeah.
Yes, sorrel juice, cane juice. The one them, some of them not sweet no cane juice, you use coconut water. But a cane juice straight up. Me's a man. Yeah, me really love me cane juice. Me have a meal. The way me love cane juice, me go get a meal. Yeah, man. Iris, me buy the meal from where them be there and them a go away, I go back home. Sell me the meal, man. I used to plant enough cane about the place, so I plant them now. I can't plant them there again. The cow them come to us, so unless me go nyam the cow them. You know, because the cow them come match on everything. The cow them come match on everything, Rasta, everything. Some of those say, I'm not bother with that up there, so.
Yeah, you see. You better kill out the cow there.
No, a man up there plan to shoot them. You have a man next door that say a plan to shoot the cow them. You tell the man, say, boss, take the cow them off of the land and I'm going to shoot them.
Yeah.
But, you know, me don't know that.
No, you're not the violent type, them really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know.
No, sir, me never listen to news, you know, me I do my own business and I want them.
I I'm catch a piece on the news and at 6 o'clock where them I say, boy, the same thing where you preach all long, you know, I say, yo, them forget when the food in abundance.
Yeah, them forget storage. Yeah, them have a place with storage.
Yeah, them say them all come in with it.
Oh, yeah?
Within 18 months' time, them say so. By the end of next year, it will roll out.
Yeah, man, you have to have something for cool. That's when them call it now, famine time, you're supposed to still have food, man.
Yeah, yes,
yeah. And you're supposed to do it in a kind of agricultural style, agro-industry, where you can have the thing them preserved, you know?
Yeah, that them all do, man. So then say them all have 5 truck where I distribute it island-wide, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah?
Them say the factory, yeah, man, them say them all do the factory. Me hear me, I said, John, you know, so them boy, I really listen to that style. And I go on like that.
Common sense, man. I don't listen to them, I listen to me. Common sense. Common sense, stitch up on them. Just like when I talk about for plant rice. Yeah. And them no want plant. Look how long them are supposed to plant rice. Rice supposed to plant in Jamaica. Jamaican people have enough rice.
True, man.
And you can't import so much rice.
You see, them say they don't plant it, you know?
Yeah, man, them supposed to plant rice, man. Anyway, give thanks, Virgin.
Yeah, man is on holy Paris second a motor and go on to the door, you see it?
Yeah, man, Irie.
Big up.
I'm going to see if we can don't play this, where name there before the time.
He had believed that the only religion black people ever had was Christianity. Or Judaism.
I don't need them. I don't need them. I want a doctor.
That's right.
People who may be physically ill would not go to the doctor. I'm thinking of one particular instance that I know about.
Right.
Lady would not go to the doctor because she said she'd rather be in church.
She's going to die soon. I do not want a minister when I get hit by a car. I want a specialist in bones.
Well, let me take you for a moment. Let me use myself as an example. I was bleeding to death. I was going to die. I was losing blood faster than the doctors could give me. And they said, we must operate. And there comes a priest to say something over me, whatever it is. I tell him, I don't need him. I don't need him. I want a doctor.
That's right. That's intelligent.
He's standing in the way of the doctors. They need to work in me.
It doesn't mean that he doesn't believe in God. It means that he's intelligent.
And this is
because the priest wants the same doctor. If the priest had an accident and the doctor comes up and another priest come up, and when he look and he has a ruptured aorta or something like that, you think he's going to tell the guy, pray man, I need that, and tell the doctor, go and tell the doctor, get me to the hospital. When you go to the hospital, how many priests, ministers you will see lying up there getting treated? Because they got sense. You know what I mean? It isn't irreligious or godly for me to say, I fell down and broke my leg, and then say, Father, straighten it out. You know what the Bible said? I will help those who help themselves. Well, the Bible could be used for negative and positive. It's got all kind of negative and positive. The whole thing is your interpretation of it. You go to 15 Baptist church and you get 15 back. Why tell me now, if it's religion, that you got one block 200 feet long and got 6 Baptist church in there? The same Baptist denomination. Tell me why everybody want to run their thing. If I get 10% from you, 10% for the next guy, 10% of $70,000 a year is good look. I mean, I could get a few carrots behind that. And a nice home and a nice wife with a mink coat. And you see some people taking the last dollar and giving to the church. And then come and ask me for my dollar.
Let me just, because I've been informed that we have about, I guess, less than 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes.
I am Zion McIntosh. In celebration of Child Month, here is a tip for us children. Remember, it is important to start the day with a healthy breakfast. It refuels the body and provides energy for the day.
This is not a human say. Iowa FM is roots rock reggae. Hear this. And all them.
It hurts to love someone and not be loved in return. But what is more painful is to love someone and never find the courage to let that person know how you feel. Maybe God wants us to meet a few wrong people before meeting the right one, so that when we finally meet the right person, we will know how to be grateful for that gift. Love is when you take away the feeling, the passion and the romance in a relationship and find out you still care for that person. A sad thing in life is when you meet someone who means a lot to you, only to find out in the end that it was never meant to be, and you just have to let go. When the door of happiness closes, another opens, but oftentimes we look the kind you can just be with, never say a word, and then walk away feeling like it was the best conversation you've ever had. It is true that we don't know what we've got until we lose it, but it's also true that we don't know what we've been missing until it arrives. Giving someone all your love is never an assurance that they'll love you back. Don't expect love in return. Just wait for it to grow in their heart. But if it doesn't, be content it grew in yours. There are things you'd love to hear that you would never hear from the person whom you would like to hear them from. But don't be so deaf as not to hear it from the one who says it from their heart. Never say goodbye if you still want to try. Never give up if you still feel you can go on. Never say you don't love a person anymore if you can't let go. Love comes to those who still hope, although they've been disappointed. To those who still believe, although they've been betrayed. To those who still need to love, although they've been hurt before. And to those who have the courage and faith to build trust again. It takes only a minute to get a crush on someone, an hour to like someone, and a day to love someone. But it takes a lifetime to forget someone. Don't go facing bright. Hope you find the someone that makes you smile.
Whoa, da da da. Whoa. You say, stay away, run away from this trouble and strife again. No way could I take your advice. Be sure to make a different choice. It's the example of the children, don't you know today, how easily they go astray. And you see how the system lock their eyes and treat them with such brutality. I don't know how long. Survival for the system, Babylon, your legs no strong. I don't know how long would repatriation bring the people back? This one I don't know. How long? I don't know. Hey, someday, far away, I won't say that this trouble in life again. You see, overjoyed, could turn to the rule of the land again. It's the example of the children, don't you know today, how easily they go astray. And you see how the system lock their eyes and treat them with such brutality? I don't know. Creation bring the people back. This one I don't know. How long? I don't know. You say
yes, the group called Bamboo Station. Island music, Virgin Islands, Bamboo Station. This is the cutting edge on IRFM. You know, so we're going to come forward a little more. 2 o'clock with the stepping razor, the art of war. 2 o'clock to 5:45. Different program, different.
How the system lock their eyes and treat them with such brutality. I don't know how long. Survival for the system, Babylon, your legs are strong. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
And the cello, may I tell you, sweet, 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 sweet in the morning, yeah, sweet.
Hello, Hare Krishna. Hello, baby Krishna. Come up on the top, Hare Krishna. Come up on the top. Hello, Hare Krishna. Fire, 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 in the land and town. Fire, fire, from underground. Fire, fire, in the land and town. Fire, fire, from underground. George Bush, real not burning. Tony Blair, real not burning. Queen Elizabeth, real not burning. Prince Charles, we're not burning. Hare Krishna, wheel is burning. Baby Krishna, wheel is burning. Hare Krishna, wheel is burning. Baby Krishna.
Yeah, the man called Lee Scratch Perry. I tell you, still stand up. Yes, Scratch, anyway you're there. I'm a virgin, you know. I'm stand up, man. It's a great thing that to stand up so long. Yes, still I make music and I tour around the place. Well, not in the COVID now, but I'm still a tour. Used to say the place kind of open up back. Once I make some little move out there. Yes. Go deal with what them that deal with before this lockdown take place. We give thanks for that.
One of them hold on, not even a button. Jim start to wriggle. The police start to giggle. Mama, make I tell you what them do to Jim. Mama, make I tell you what them do to him. Them thump him in him belly and it turn to jelly. Them lick him on him back and him rib get pop. Them lick him on him head but it tough like a limb. Them kick him in him seed and it started to bleed. Mama, I just couldn't stand up there and do nothing. So me choke one in him eye and him started to cry. Me thump one in him mouth and him started to shout. Me kick one on him shin and him started to spin. Me thump him on him chin and him drop on a bin and crash and dead. Mama, more policemen come down and beat me to the...
It's hard to keep up with Irie FM.
Moving forward, today, tomorrow, together. Staring to the future, today, tomorrow, together. Building hope within a nation, that's our occupation. Great people doing extraordinary things. Irie FM, I can hear you. Irie FM, I can hear you.
Reggae in the evening, reggae at night time, on Irie Radio. Reggae in the morning, reggae in the evening, reggae at night time, on Irie Radio. Matrix to the advisement this evening. So, loose. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
access another experience.
Please access another experience. Sound a big thing now, not for hear it. Ready? This is DJ Matrix. I'm with the boy. Long time I look fit. Ready? In down at IRFM I play some big tune. DJ Matrix. DJ Matrix. DJ Matrix. Easy I say. DJ Matrix on display. At IRFM on the radio dial. X-Factor say the real vibes builder. Let it stay. Hear me now? Some say DJ Matrix on the real vibes builder. DJ Matrix. When it come to dancehall or radio, you're the real vibes builder. DJ Matrix. DJ Matrix. Energy. DJ Matrix. Button. DJ Matrix.
DJ Matrix, they call me the real vibes builder. So right throughout the 4 hours, you will get a ton load of vibes, okay? Now it's May 13. It's not Friday the 13th though. It's Thursday the 13th of May. Now it's still the year 2021. And of course, as it's a Thursday, it's Transition Thursdays. We're gonna give you old school songs from now until 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock onwards to 5:30, you get the songs of today. And then 5:30 to 6 o'clock, the spiritual segment. So come on, put your hand on the volume and crank it up.
Yeah, this a DJ Matrix, yeah. This a DJ Matrix, yeah.
Salutes every time to Mutabaruka, who kept your company for the cutting edge, and also DJ Kemar, who monitored inside the studio. Now we started right here. Morning ride on radio in a first-class stylus, wicked and wild on your 107.1357 and 9. It's Irie.
Tough, I'm in no techno stuff, no. Rough, I'm in no play nor bluff, no. You look at me with scorn, Jano. Then you turn around and eat up all my corn, yes. But you know, hypocrites and
the only station in the entire world to rock you 24/7 and keep you up tempo. The General Station.
Rough on y'all, tough, I'm in no techno stuff, yo. Rough, I'm in no play nor bluff, no. You look at me with scorn, Jano. Then you turn around and eat up all my corn, yes. But you know, hypocrites and parasites will come up and take a bite. Love me tough on, yes. Rough on your Jano. Rough, I'm in a pet nor powder. Oh Lord, I can't take Babylon body odor. Tell them how them fight and them scheme against Rasta war. Every day them rob and rape Ethiopia. But I know the hypocrites and the parasites will come up and take a bite. Judgment upon, yes. Rasta no, rough on y'all. Oh Lord, if you have peace, and if you think you're so free, and if you have power. Jesus on a marble stand, trying to find the ocean, looking everywhere. Hard times in the city, even hard times by the sea. Yeah, there's nowhere to run to. There's nothing there for free. Caught around the corner, waiting for the dream. Yeah, drunk, lying in the sidewalk, even in the rain.
Reggae Radio, Irie.
Good people hide their faces. They even hide their rights. Yeah. 'Cause the city's dying, and they don't know why. Just to leave. Oh, Baltimore. Ain't it hard just to leave? Just to leave. Now I told you, so you ought to know. Take some time for a feeling to grow. You're so close now, I can't